conversation osobola omanya n'okuyigayo intention ati wali talina recognition nga tabavubuka bamukola tulina mission ati katigira benga platform egenda okuteeka artist gwe ku form sibyakubuuza mbuno gwe owasadi abnormal interviews babuuza ofumbiddwa ddi ati nga bw'owuliriza eno ye interview dakiika zibeera 10 zokka temuba interval ati tekakola beba storytellers ako n'abava mu kisaawe ekyono ati nga bw'owuliriza eno ye interview dakiika zibeera 10 zokka temuba interval ati tekakola beba storytellers ako n'abava mu kisaawe ekyono ati I grew up in a family where my mom used to, actually my mom is a poet, so she used to write poems, ebitontome in Luganda, so I could, every time she could come back from the market, I could see her reciting some of the poems, and I was so interested. In fact, in the first place, I didn't know that I would be a rapper. Me, I thought I was going to be omutontomi, just a spoken word artist, because of the inspiration I got from my mom. So one day I stole her book when she wasn't around, and I went through all the poems, and I realized that I could recite some of the poems from her book. So actually this was S1. So I went, when I was going back to school, I started reciting one of the poems, and guys were like, wow, oli wakabi, oli mutontomi, oli wakabi. Kumbe it wasn't even my poem. I stole it from my mom's book. So the inspiration started from there. Then I had a friend who introduced me to hip hop. So I could listen to a lot of storytellers like Mos Def and Talib Kweli. I played a lot of, by then we had tapes. I had a lot of tapes, the cover storytellers. So from there, netandika okuwulira Ugandan hip hop artists like abarapping mu Luganda. GNL Zamba Oyajira. And I knew that my focus was to put ebitontome on a beat, because before I thought that rap was supposed to be in English because of the American influence. So later I realized that I could put my ebitontome, the ones that I don't even write for myself, on a beat, on a hip hop beat. But as time went by, I started writing my own poems. I was talking about myself. Yenzenga bulijjo St.Nellysade nnyingiddewo bwe kaba katuli nkatono nze neenyizeewo okusanyusa wamu n'okunyiza abansooseewo abanene n'abatono bensanzeewo. So everyone was feeling me then. So I realized that I could put ebitontome on a rap beat. So the whole dream started from there, and I started writing real hip hop songs, rap. The rest is history. I'm a person who follows news, so I do a lot of research, and I always focus much on what's trending. So every time I watch news, I have to memorize something, especially when it comes to highlights throughout the whole year. So the whole purpose of the wrap-up is not to tell things that all the things that have been happening in the year, but to talk about the highlights, the interesting stories, the beautiful stories, the sad moments that can catch someone's eye. It's more like reminding someone of what has happened in the year. So whenever the year starts, I memorize. Before, I used to note down things, but I realized that my head is better than a pen and a paper. So I realized that I have more than a full terabyte of space in my head. So what I do, I have to make sure that I memorize everything. For example, when I talk about politics, I have to sit down. What happened during the whole election process? I have to sit down and think, okay, a Meli happened, then Segrinya had some highlights, then internet, Yavako, things like that. It's just easy. And on top of that, you have to keep updated. You have to be updated. You have to watch news. You have to watch all those conversations on TVs. So it's easy. It's really easy for me. Mostly when I'm doing stories, first of all, I get inspired. I can read, let me say, newspaper or watch a beautiful story on TV, and I get inspired and I create my own version of a story. For example, when you listen to Amaziga Ganamudu, I was watching news and I saw a story about a certain girl. So I created a story from that story, but it's not similar. So whenever I get inspired, I sit down, I get a pen and a paper, and I start writing something without even a beat. I always create a beat in my head and I start composing. So sometimes it doesn't matter if I start with a story, with the chorus or a verse. I just start creating there and then. Even when I'm on a board, I can still, at least I can type on my phone and I create something that I'll build on later. So from there, I hit the studio. When I hit the studio, I talk to the producer. He either create something that can rhyme along with my lyrics or with my flow, or I beatbox something that I think can suit my verse or my whole song. I like the fact that I've been able to travel because of hip hop, because of my Luganda rhymes, because of my Luganda lyrics, So it makes a lot of sense that you can even go overseas. I've been able to travel all over the world. I've been to France, I've been to Belgium, I've been to Czech Republic, I've been to Switzerland because of hip hop. So these are the fruits zetukungula mu rap zaffe kitegeera. So man, it's a blessing. Who knew that I would travel because of rap? So it makes a lot of sense for me. Kisigala chikola sense. As a storyteller, I feel like I am a voice for the voiceless. I will talk about problems and give solutions. For example, when I rap about domestic violence, in the same song I'm going to talk about how we can avoid domestic violence, what causes domestic violence. I'll come up with a song that a man comes back home drunk and start beating a wife. So then in the next verse, I tell you that it's not good to drink too much when you're a man, and as a man you have to be responsible. It doesn't make sense leaving home without leaving money for food, and then you come back home and start asking for food. Then when the woman asks for what you've come back with, since you didn't leave money behind, you start beating because for you think that you are drunk enough to start causing all that. So those are some of the things that I think that we contribute in the community. For example, especially where we come from, these are the things we've been seeing. I grew up in a community where I was seeing all this happening, and I thank God that I've been able to address them in my songs.